All right. How about that, Crump?
Yeah.
Just watch.
A fun game.
Yeah, seriously. I haven't had that much fun watching Tennessee play a big football game in 20 years. I don't know. Tennessee 40. LSU 13. The game essentially ends on an interception. I mean, how could that game have honestly gone any better at all? Your offense blew them out of the water. They couldn't hold Tennessee's jockstrap, excuse my English. And then your defense holds them to 13. What a game. I'm Burris. That is former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton. We're going to talk about it all as everybody rolls in here. I got to tell you first about all of our amazing sponsors. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Farm Bureau Health Plans is a corporate sponsor of the Vols. They've been serving Tennesseans for 75 years. Plan on them for health, dental, and vision at fphp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com. Type in promo code VOLS at checkout for an extra $30 off and fill your freezer with enough gourmet food to keep your cookouts going strong into the fall. Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey is our final sponsor. Make your own luck, just like Tennessee's fast-paced Rattle and Snap offense with Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey. It's right here behind me. Take a good look because I'm going to drink some of it here in just a second. Wow. I mean, what a game. Just lay it on us. Your thoughts? 40-13? How is this real? How is this?
Trying to think how to say this gently. Good thing is we whooped their, you know what, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I ran the numbers. What did I say at halftime? We need to impose our will.
Yeah.
We need to run the ball 75% of the time. Well, we imposed our will and we ran the ball 74% of the time. So I was 1% off of what we did. And we ran for 159 yards in the second half. When we go for 150 plus, we win the ball game. That right now is our sweet spot. Obviously, if we go for more, that's just icing on the cake. We ran the ball 74% of the time, which is great. Now, I promise you, at any level of football, a win is hard to come by. But LSU is garbage. LSU is not a top 25 team. I'm just going to call it right now. I looked at their schedule. Florida State. That's all I can say. Southern. Ooh. New Mexico. Ooh. Auburn. Trash. The only team that they beat that is worth anything is Mississippi State. We did what we were supposed to do against a very lesser opponent. Bottom line. And when I'm saying all that, I'm not taking that away from our win. We did what we were supposed to do against a lesser opponent is what I'm trying to get at.
Yep.
It wasn't close from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a nail-biter. It wasn't this. We went out there. We beat the hell out of them at their home stadium, made the crowd leave halfway through the third quarter. That's what you're supposed to do when you're a good football team against a lesser opponent. LSU is garbage. I don't know any other way of saying that. This football team, from the 2019 team to now, is astonishing on how trash it is.
I could not agree more. And it's still shocking to me how definitive that was. Like how business.
It's because we are a good football team now. That's the thing.
They are. That's true. That's it.
That's just the reality. It's not. This isn't the Jeremy Pruitt era, right? Where everybody's like, "Ooh, when is that? When is that stupid, boneheaded, blah 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 going to happen? Whatever that play call or penalty or whatever." We're a well coached football team. Now, are we there yet? No, but the beauty is you're never there. Even with Alabama, Nick Saban is never quote unquote there. So no, I like I said, this was what we were supposed to do. I freaking love it. I'm not taking away from the win. We beat the hell out of the team that we should beat the hell out of, and I love that.
I want to reiterate this. I said this last week, but it's a much stronger point now. 40-13 over LSU to go to 5-0. Yeah. You smash a top 25 team on the road in one of the toughest road environments in college football. You'll probably be, depending on what happens to the rest of the day, you will be close to top 5, if not a top 5 team come Monday. You will be playing a top 5 game against Alabama at home in Neyland Stadium in year 2 of this guy. Josh Heupel.
The beauty of it is it's year 2. And then
my mind is blown.
I'm getting an eerily similar feel about what we're able to do in year 2 is what Nick Saban started doing at Alabama in year 2.
That's true.
Now, but here's the thing. Totally different styles of football from what Nick Saban was in year 2 as far as offensive philosophy.
Sure.
That doesn't matter. But the hype around the program, the play from the players within the program and the system and the belief and the recruits starting to get a little more hyped about the program again. It's starting to feel very eerily similar in a good way for us.
Yeah. So now I said this in the week coming up. You beat LSU. The most likely outcome of this season, I think at this point is a 10-2 record. You will be favored in every game except Alabama and Georgia. Period. So I think that is the most likely outcome.
I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to slightly disagree with that, Charlie. I think if we keep playing this way, we might have a slight edge. We actually might have a chance to be favored against Georgia. Because of no.
It's at Georgia. It's in Athens. That's the only thing.
It doesn't matter. Look at offensive production. Look at offensive production. They're going week, but they're going week by week. I'm not saying I don't know what's going to happen in between them. I'm just saying there's a chance of the two we would have a better chance of being favored. I'm not saying 7, 10, 12 points, but maybe a 1 or 2 because they gave us a 2.5 point spread against LSU, and LSU was ranked 25. They shouldn't have been, and we beat the piss out of them.
Say like Alabama wins tonight by 20, like I think they're probably gonna. They'll probably be favored by.
I think it's field goal or less.
Maybe. God,
I truly do.
I don't even know how to process this. That's my main reaction right now. That second half was stress free. That was unbelievable. You didn't have to worry for 1 second because you had control coming into the half, and then you just took a vice grip. And I mean that final drive, they just crushed LSU's soul.
Yeah,
that was Tennessee just being like you don't even belong on this field with us. Like they just came and imposed their will. I can't believe it, and so. That's my main takeaway at this point. I mean, we're going to analyze the whole game there, but I'm just beside myself thinking about the fact that you were in a 3-win season with Jeremy Pruitt less than 2 years ago, and here you are.
Yep.
What do you even say? 5-0, potentially top 5 team with number 1 Alabama coming in, and the thought is not Alabama is going to run you out of the building. The thought is, Alabama should be scared. That's what that whole fourth quarter, all of these national guys are just like, Alabama better look out. Look at that. I don't know. I'm like Ron Burgundy in Anchorman. No, it's not Anchorman. It's the Talladega Nights. What do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do with my hands right now. It's seriously, I don't know how to process it because it's been so long since we've been able to say things like this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. Well, like you heard Dan Orlowski, the commentator right there, he was like, man, how do we go ahead and get the bid to get this game in Neyland next week? I want to be in this game.
I believe that's going to go to somebody a little above Dan Orlowski's.
Well, no, I know it was funny because they were joking about it at the end, but but you're right. The hype that we're getting now, we haven't had it so long. It's refreshing to get again because let's call a spade a spade. We are the University of Tennessee. We should not have had the years that we've had. Just in all honesty, but unfortunately we did. And now it's even more refreshing that they're coming back, that it's appreciated even more now.
Yeah. What a time to be alive, folks. We'll start there, but let's do get to some of the segments here. Everybody that is watching right now is a whole bunch of people tuning in. We can't thank you enough for hanging out with us. Drop into the comments wherever you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and give us one word for how you feel about beating LSU 40-13 in Death Valley. How is this real life? How? One word. That's it. Just give us that one word, and we will talk about it I'll read off all your responses, and me and Cromp will give ours. And first, I just got to tell you about Farm Bureau Health Plans. Farm Bureau Health Plans have been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years. Much has changed in Tennessee over the years, but some has stayed the same. Farm Bureau Health Plans has always valued personal relationships, especially when it comes to good health and good service. Plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans for health, dental, and vision. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ or walk into one of their 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. That is fbhp.com/ATOZ. That's A to Z. fbhp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Let's see. We got a bunch here. Let me go all the way back here. Mark, one word. This is it. And to anybody that may have just tuned in during that, add your one word to describe Tennessee's win over LSU and how you feel about it. Mark Jones says domination. Nick says happy. Pat says laughing. Jeff, freaking Big Ten Jeff over here. He says unimpressed. LSU is garbage. Sean says fun. Derek says good old Rocky Top. If you fit it into one word there. Dustin says ecstatic. Daniel dominant. Brett excited. Scar says hyped. Tony Clark says 1998. Oh, are we gonna go there?
Somebody said it's the first one we've got all year.
Educated opinion says petty. Sam says destiny, and Ezra says consistent. I'll throw it to you, Cromp, while everybody is weighing in there. Your one word to describe Tennessee's giant win over LSU.
Domination.
Absolutely.
It just domination. I mean, that's the only word that really comes to my mind is, like I said, at halftime, you got to impose your will in the run game. Now, we're not the, early 2010 Alabama 2 and 3 tight end power run game. Really, who is nowadays? You impose your will by running for 262 yards? Something like that. I mean, that pretty much says it all, right? What we ended up with 5.3 yards a carry. Ran the ball 49 times. 49. So that's the domination. We threw the ball 7 times in the second half. 7. That's all we needed. Like that tells me that tells me we're on the right track, and that's why domination comes to my mind, is because we dominated the line of scrimmage.
I guess I just said it just then, but my one word is unreal. Like,
yeah,
this is a dream. How Josh Heupel, I don't know how you can give him more credit. I mean, he's the belle of the ball with Tennessee fans right now, but I don't think you can say enough. Unreal. Like, that is my word. Just the position that Tennessee finds themselves in right now, not just beating LSU there, but like going in and just saying, I mentioned earlier, just a business trip.
Yeah,
we're just gonna come in, beat your head in. Like, this is what we came here to do. We're a better team than you, and that's what we're gonna do. Is just beat you 40-13.
It's expected now, and that's the thing. Yeah. That's where it's fun, because in that locker room and in the coach's locker room, that whole facility, that's the expectation. Go in,
it is,
beat the piss out of you, get on a plane, go home. Like, that's when you expect that, rather than we did what, right? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm being serious. Like, that was the upset. Blah blah blah. Nope, we're going and we're gonna beat the hell out of him and we're leaving.
It's the difference. It's the difference between 2016 and now, because everybody, like, I've been doing radio interviews and stuff, and everybody brings up, it's the best season since 2016. This isn't like 2016. This isn't. You dominated Florida, even though it was closer than it should have been there at the end. You dominate LSU. Like, you ran them over like you should have. I mean, you had better players on offense. It's crazy. And I do want to talk about the defense. We'll break that down, but I wanted to read some more of these responses. One word to describe how you feel right now. Dennis says wonderful. Kevin says smoked. Danny says awesome. Gilead, bomb. Timothy says amazing. Danny, excited. Crystal, focused. Adgrid, I like this. Big dogs. Mark
Yes.
says, "Bring on Bama." Thanks to everybody for commenting there. I think Orlovsky actually said this at the end of the game there as the clock was winding down, and I think he's exactly right. As much as I don't want to give Dan Orlovsky any credit, have not been a big fan of that guy. His takes on the Titans are oof, but he said this all comes down to Tennessee's defense. I think he's exactly right, because I think we're seeing now with how set in Hooker is and how focused he is, and how you're seeing the insane weapons that Tennessee has, where Tillman is out and you're laying 40 on LSU. I mean, that's horrifying if you're an opposing defensive coordinator. And so it comes down to the defense. Tennessee is going to put 30 to 40 on you. That's almost a sure thing no matter who they're playing. And so it comes to Tennessee's defense. What can they do? And we see this now. They hold LSU to 13 points, and Tennessee just beat your head in. That's what happens. What more can you say? And in this game in particular, I mean, credit to Tim Banks. The boys went out there and did it. And Rodney Garner, that defensive line looked hungry all game long. They just brought it. I mean, honestly, I don't have enough adulation to give to these guys. It's really crazy.
No, dude, I totally agree. I'm just reading these comments, and I'm loving one of the arguments going back and forth.
There are some provocative folks in the comments.
This is just two people, and it's one of the regulars that I love to mess with. They're just going back and forth. It's slightly comical for me right now.
Well,
I'm just saying that.
One of the things that I thought was funny, like coming into this game, me and Zach talked about it on Big Orange Podcast. Me, Zach Reagan, every Monday at 4 p.m. right here on whatever channels you may be watching this on, the A to Z Sports YouTube or Facebook, wherever. But me and Zach were talking, and before the game, Brian Kelly, he gave this interview where and a reporter said, like, "What do you think about Tennessee's fast-paced offense?" And he was just like, "Well, they line up just like we do. And, it's not like they're going out and doing this and that and that." And me and Zach were like, did Brian Kelly, watch tape on Tennessee? Is he serious?
Brian Kelly's in over his head, okay?
I think Tennessee just opened up a can of, what's the deal here, Brian Kelly? That's going to be the talking points for LSU.
I don't think it's necessarily anything other than there are certain schools throughout the country that take a certain personality to coach at. LSU is one of them. Notre Dame's one of them, but they're opposite ends of the spectrum personality. See what I'm saying? Ohio State is one of them.
I know exactly.
Michigan is one of them. Tennessee, right? Alabama, Southern Cal. UCLA is not one of them. You see what I'm saying? To me, maybe this is just my head, but he went from one end to the other end of the spectrum, polar opposites that I don't think he's going to know how to handle media-wise. Notre Dame is a little different when it comes to thinking than you do at LSU. I don't know if he's going to be able to handle a lot of the stuff. Like I said, it's an opinion. I think he's in over his head. And I also think he's in over his head, and this is once again an opinion, because of their star receiver, number 7.
And he's nowhere to be found. It was his first touchdown of the season.
But if you kind of look into it a little bit, once again, this is an opinion, keyword opinion. Yeah, fire Coach O, blah, 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 all this stuff. And he goes, I don't want to, I'm out, I'm transferring, I want to go to Bama, bottom line. Well, who wouldn't, right? Gets him to stay, all this stuff. Now the coaching staff, they're trying to, in my opinion, it's like they're trying to prove a point by saying, well, just because you're the best wide receiver on this team and great as the number 2 wide receiver in the country, you're not going to do certain things. We're going to make an example out of you, is what it looks like. Keyword looks like, an opinion. And don't get me wrong, the other guys, you always got to have guys that step up and make plays. I know he's coming off an injury and all that stuff. I get it. But if you're the number 2 wide receiver in the class coming out, you got to find ways to get him the ball. I don't care what it is.
Exactly.
You've got to get creative, get him the goddamn ball if he's supposed to be the number 2 wide receiver in the class. Now, if it's me and I'm him, I'm out. I'm going to get ready for the draft. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
I'm
Why?
done.
Even
at this point, I'm not going to risk re-injuring myself for them treating him the way that he's getting treated on a team that, yeah, they're still 4-2. I don't think they're very good, but they're 4-2. You see, like they still got a winning record. But if it's me and I'm him, I'm chunking the deuces. I'm gonna go get ready for the draft. I'm going to be Jamar Chase. Like that, I'm just dead serious. If he really is the number 2 wide receiver, that stuff like that's why I think Brian Kelly's in over his head. You're dealing with a different personality than Notre Dame. Like that's just the reality.
We'll have to see how he settles in because it's. Well, speaking of Kelly, not of Butte there.
Yeah.
Because I could not agree more. That whole situation. If I'm an LSU fan, I don't know how you're not just. Like I bet he's probably going to get ripped apart on Baton Rouge radio this week.
But and rightfully so, though. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
He is, especially this week, he earned every bit of it. Like, and if you look at, I watch their mannerisms, okay? So early in the game, they do a hard play action, try to take a shot, 2-man route. And they zoom to him, and he legitimately says, he's one-on-one, what the F are you doing? And then throws a temper tantrum as the head coach. And I'm like, you look at Hypewell on the other hand, and he's upbeat. Hey, on to the next play, on to the next play, on to the next. You know what I'm saying? See how our guys respond to see how they respond.
Hypel?
Like that's just
Hypel and his temperament is one of the best college football coaches I've ever seen. Honestly, college sports coaches I have ever seen in terms of just the way that he handles everything. It's all even keeled. He takes the correct tone on everything. I've really hawked on this with his take on NIL stuff because there are some coaches that have been like, it's ruining the game and blah, blah, blah. You know, Nick Saban and everybody like being grumps about it. And he's just coming out and being like, we're going to use it to our advantage. We're going to do what we can with it. And, you know, we're going to go be great. Go Vols. And I love that. Yeah. It's so good. And yeah, I mean, that's a great point. It's a really great point. I did want to cover this. Cody Branch, he says, let's not forget what happened the last time Tennessee started 5-0. And on that note, we're going to talk about that after the stat of the game, the rattle and snap stat of the game. We're going to talk about what's going forward.
Yeah.
Obviously, last time Tennessee was 5-0. They ended the season at 8-4, and Alabama on the horizon. And even every game from here is just going to get bigger. So we're going to talk about that. But first, we got to talk about the rattle and snap stat of the game. I got a good one. I like the one that I found. And we'll talk about it right after I tell you about Rattle and Snap Tennessee whiskey. It is right here behind. So after the Florida game, me and Cromp took a shot of whiskey, and that was great. It was fun. It got the night going. Obviously, it's a beautiful fall day. I mean, unbelievable weather here in Knoxville right now. And what goes better with a beautiful fall night than whiskey right here? And here it is. I'll hold it right up here. That's Rattle and Snap Tennessee whiskey. This is an 8-year whiskey, straight Tennessee whiskey. It's amazing. We shot it last week. This is too nice. I can't shoot this. I can't bring myself to shoot an 8-year-old beautiful whiskey. But I am gonna pour it out. Take a sip. I guess. Oh, you got it. You got some. Cheers.
I'll just go ahead and shoot it.
It's great. I honestly,
whiskey for the win.
This bottle is excellent. I really go grab it. I saw it this week around Knoxville. It's in Knoxville. I do have to give at least a little spiel that they've sent us here, but I've seen it in Knoxville. If you're in Knoxville, I've seen it in Nashville. So it's all over there. But Lockstill Distillery is releasing a new Tennessee whiskey to their product line, Rattle and Snap Tennessee whiskey. It's named after a long-forgotten game of chance. Rattle and Snap is a whiskey for those who make their own luck. Go check them out at Rattle and Snap Whiskey on Instagram. Follow them there and go grab a bottle at your nearest liquor store if you live in the states of Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, or Mississippi. It's available in all of those states. Go grab it. There's a 4-year and an 8-year whiskey. That was the 8-year. Like I said, it's too great to shoot. I'm not going to shoot an 8-year Tennessee whiskey. I have to honor it. I have to honor the whiskey, you know. But that's Rattle and Snap. Now, my stat of the game for Rattle and Snap whiskey is this right here. I love this so much. This is Pete Sampson, who I have no idea who that is. Notre Dame beat writer for The Athletic. He tweeted this out. LSU's 40-13 home loss to Tennessee is the second worst home defeat of Brian Kelly's entire coaching career. It is the worst since 2000 when he lost 45-17 to Northwood when he was the coach at Grand Valley State. Let's go.
I'm not a big Kelly fan though, so I'm actually ecstatic about that stat.
Just Tennessee is just out here ruining careers. Just
good.
Let's
love it.
Go. I mean, what a win. Again, what more can you say about what we just watched? That was crazy. I don't know if you don't have to have a stat set aside, but if you did, yours was really the run game.
Well, no, but here's listen, I contradict a lot of things that I say just because I like to play both sides. Why not? Right? And I'm going to say that, meaning my stat is, and this is the most impressive part, a very quiet 140 for Brew McCoy.
Oh,
think about it. 7 for 140. A very quiet 20 yards to catch. Think about that. Wait until we get Tillman back. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the pieces are coming together. We're playing well. Then you got Hyatt 4 for 63 and 2 tugs. But you got a quiet 7 for 140. And who do they look to go to on big third downs now? Brew McCoy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Tillman's out. What happens when Tillman comes back? Then you go, oh, you know what? Uh-oh. Now we can't double anybody because they got another dude that has proven to make the plays when it matters. We get him back next week. Oh, good luck, Bama. Right? Who you pick your poison? That's
seriously.
And I mean, and I don't know how serious the injury is. Blah blah blah. We're recovering, but if we can get him back at 100%, we don't need him at 70%. We need him at 100 because then at 70 we've still got guys that can play.
Absolutely.
But when he's 100, then we're super dangerous. You know what I mean?
Like this.
So that was my stat, quiet. And I love being able to say quiet because you look at it and you go, well, he didn't show up every play. He didn't have to. He went 7 for 140.
That was I was shocked. I did not realize he went for 140 yards in that game.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And Tony Clarkey says, brew is smooth like Tennessee whiskey. Great little tie in there to Rattle.
That's why he fits in so well.
Yeah, I forgot. I gotta put it. I put it down. I gotta put it back up. Here we go. There we go. There's Rattle and Snap right behind me there. Wow, that's a phenomenal stat. It just goes to show. I tweeted this out right at the end of that game. And in some sense, it's weird to say, the injury to Tillman was sort of a blessing because it got these dudes who clearly are great weapons all of these reps, and it got great trust between them and Hooker. And you just look around. If you're a defensive coordinator trying to prepare for Tennessee, how do you? I'll throw that to you, Crump. You coach football. If you're opposing DC, what do you do? Well,
it's tough because, so at the high school that I coach at, we've got a stellar wide receiver. I'm talking about dude's a ball player. We'll just say that. Stellar quarterback, but the bottom line is they know wherever our number 12 is, double team him. But I go back to what I said about what Kelly's not doing. I get really creative and get him the ball. All right? So now that we have more than just one, you can't double team. You have to pick your poison. Like I said about our defense, pick your poison. Stop the pass or stop the run. Well, we chose to stop the run. By God, we stopped the damn run tonight, right? They rushed for 55 yards. So when we get Cedric back, you can't double him. So now he's open more on the post routes because him and Brew will be on opposite sides. So you can't go 3 over 2, right? You can't in and out them over there because you got the other one on the other side. So now you got Hyatt. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Now you got Small out of the backfield. Match up against a linebacker. That's a win every day of the week. So I'm going to agree with what you're saying about it was almost a blessing in disguise that it happened early, at least, like early on, that we were able to now say, or not say, but like watch Bruce step up, watch Hyatt step up. You know what I'm saying? Watch Keaton step up. Now be able to get Squirrel some touches in the mismatch zone. Because what a phenomenal 4th down catch he made for the 1.5 yards. Bad ball, great catch. So we're seeing these guys grow up. Right? We're really going to start to see mismatches. So from a defensive standpoint, it's really hard to stop what we do right now, much less when we have 4 legitimate weapons. Right now, we got 3 out there, but when we get a 4th back, you can't double us. Because if you double, then we run the ball. Because if you double, to do that, you mathematically have to go to a 3-man line. You can't do a 3-man line against us in our run game right now. You can't. We're going to run the piss out of it because Hooker he was 6.3 yards a carry tonight.
His legs are going, we can hawk on the wide receivers and the effectiveness of the running backs. When you add in Hooker effectively running the ball, there is almost no stopping that offense if it's running correctly. If it's running,
it is very tough, and that's what I'm saying. It's like when Cedric comes back, it's going to be very tough because you cannot mathematically double without giving us the run game. And we have shown we want to run the football. We do. So our guys have to win one-on-one matchups. Well, guess what? One-on-one matchups with 6'4", 225-pound receivers is a mismatch for us in a positive way. So it's exciting to see that we're getting that back again. Like we're actually getting it to where who cares if you know what we're running?
This, JL says, back to being wide receiver you.
I mean, we're not there yet. But we have the ability to do that again.
Yes.
As long as we can keep, and not necessarily, we don't have to say we have to keep this staff together, but we got to keep our head coach that brings, if somebody gets a promotion, let them go. That's a plus for your program. That means you're winning.
Heupel's the mastermind, though.
But that's what I'm saying. But let your OC go get a head coaching job. That means you're winning.
And I mean, if this season continues this way, Golish is going to be a prime candidate.
And that's perfectly fine because that's why Saban never cares that his guys leave because that means you are winning ball games for them to want your coordinators.
Yeah.
We'll bring the next guy in. You're going to learn our system. You're going to do what we do. And it's a well-oiled machine, and we just keep going. That's what we're starting to build. We are.
It's pretty stunning. It just really is crazy. I mean, what more can you say? But to that point, I was going to say the wide receiver you kind of JL said, getting back to being wide receiver you. I agree. I don't think you're like there yet, but if you have a recruit coming in and they're seeing what Heupel is doing here, where basically it's just next man up. It doesn't matter who's playing. He's going to give you the ball in space, and his schemes almost spring you open. And then if you're an incredible athlete like a Jalen Hyatt, you just do – it's just that much better.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you just got to – if you're a wide receiver in high school, how do you not look at that and just go like, oh, my gosh, I could go here and put up magic numbers.
Well, think about the guys that came for the Florida game on recruiting visits that all came out after and said, we're scheduled, we're coming back.
Exactly.
This was the most electric stadium we've been to yet, blah, blah, blah. It is. It's Neyland Stadium, for God's sake. You know what I mean? But it's Neyland Stadium when you're winning and it's rocking. That's what you want for big-time recruits.
We did a whole segment on the podcast last week or after the Florida win about this, but I want your input because we didn't talk about this. Obviously, Cromp, you were a highly rated recruit coming out of high school. You had that entire experience. It's a little different now. It's way more of a thing than it was maybe back then. But like if you were a recruit sitting in that stadium last week and you got that experience and it was crazy. We read off like some recruit testimonies where they were like, it was insane. And then you just saw what happened here. What do you think? Like what goes through you?
And that's I'm sitting here getting goosebumps thinking about it because that's what Tennessee does to you. You know what I'm saying? I grew up a Clemson fan, for God's sake. Clemson offers me a scholarship, and I was like, no disrespect, but I'm going to play in the SEC for another orange. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I say that because it's different. It is. And when you're sitting in the recruiting session with your family in the end zone and the stadium's rocking and you're winning and the fans are going crazy on third down with our defense on the field, or we're just driving it and punching it down their throat and there's nothing they can do, and you look at it and you go, this is what college football is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's – and now that they have the second Jumbotron and all the lights and all this stuff, I can only imagine what it is now. You know what I'm saying? All the light, the strobe lights and everything. I can only imagine the feeling that these recruits get because it is electrifying. It is. Like, it's going to be one of those deals that we're going to start getting a lot of these recruits that Bama used to get from everybody. And does the NIL hurt that? No, because Tennessee's got a lot of money.
You're entering that conversation as we speak.
Yeah.
You are like it. I would say Georgia and Alabama are looking around going, damn it.
Yep.
Like, this is a problem because now Tennessee has the money, the resources, everything to compete directly with them. And the only thing that was missing was the wins on the football field. Yep. Here we are.
And now they're coming. And because I promise you, if there's one thing Tennessee will not be, and whatever the rules are for NIL, as far as who can do this, who can that, blah, 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 they won't be cheap. If there's one thing that the whole state of Tennessee loves is football, they will not be cheap. They will not lose a recruit because of NIL deals.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to say. However, the NIL deals need to get done, I promise you, if it comes down to Tennessee and somebody else, Tennessee's going to get it done. Even in the portal. Because now the guys don't have to sit out. Screw it. Let's go. Come right in. So imagine, all right, so Hendon's leaving. What Power 5 quarterback goes, I want to play there next year? It's going to happen. Somebody's going to come in. I know Milton's going to lead the way, blah, blah, blah. What Power 5 kid goes, man, I got 1 year of eligibility left. I need to improve my draft stock. I'm out. I'm going to Knoxville. It will happen.
I mean,
that's what we do. Hence Oklahoma, right? Jalen Hurts. Get a guy that goes, hey man, like I'm a 26-2 as a starter. Like, I'm really good, but I need to go to that next level. Maybe a young kid beat me out, blah, blah, blah. But I've started 30 games. We're going to start getting those recruits now instead of other teams.
You're watching right now, and I think specifically about Brew McCoy. You're watching like a recruiting testimony unfold right in front of your eyes. Brew having this big game. He comes in from USC last year, and he's blowing up. Heupel's making him money. That's what's happening.
No doubt.
Heupel is making this man money in the future because he's out there looking like an NFL prospect. And who knows the volumes that speaks to recruits and transfers alike. It has to just be absolutely massive. That's great. I love talking about that.
It's only positive from here, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what happens next week. Next week does not fully define this season. Obviously, we're going in expecting to win, and I think it's going to be a close ball game. But what I'm getting at is that does not define the rest of the season. The reality is, win, lose, or draw next week, we still got a chance to go to Atlanta. We go to Atlanta, that means you automatically have a chance for the playoff because it's the SEC. That is the fact of the matter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep. I mean, think about this. You are 5-0. If you lose to Alabama, even and then don't lose until the Georgia game, you beat Kentucky, you take care of business. The Georgia game is for the SEC East.
Yeah,
that's how close you are.
Well, but
you're that close. You can lose to Alabama and the Georgia games for the SEC East.
But here's what I want everybody to understand. God forbid, right? We go 10-2. That's a phenomenal stat to say that God forbid we go 10-2, right? But say we go 10-2 and we lose to Georgia and Bama. You know that's still an Orange Bowl, right?
Yeah, Sugar Bowl.
See what I'm getting at? Like it is still a New Year's Six Bowl because that means Georgia Bama are going to SEC championship game. One of them is going to go instantly to the playoff, if not both, depending on the record. It's a New Year's Six game. That's what I'm getting at is like we're getting back to that conversation that we can have week in, week out about regardless of what happens next week. Because look at Bama. How many teams have ever went 15-0? Right?
One.
Bama has a history of losing one stupid game and winning the whole thing, even without going to Atlanta. Next week does not define the season. If we win, it puts us in the conversation to be number 2 in the country. Bottom line. If we lose, we don't drop out of the top 10, though, because it's Alabama.
Yeah.
That is think about it, that is how long has it been since we can say, hey, we're either top 2 or 3 or top 10 regardless.
And right now, some people have said it in the comments. Georgia locked in a tight one with Auburn. Obviously, it could get 0-0 and 2 minutes left in the first quarter. So it's only been 13 minutes. I'm just
saying, man, I called this stuff all year, like 11-1. I did.
You did.
I don't even care. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'd still, man, what we've done is phenomenal.
Just this right here is already enough where if the wheels come flying off and you go 8-4 from here, you lose 2 stupid ones.
All right, so here's my question, Charlie. How much is that? How much time do we have left
in this show?
Yeah,
20 minutes.
Okay, I got a question for you. Then you want to do it?
Go ahead.
You want to do it? I can't wait for the comments. I'm going to be this guy. I'm going to do it. Because right now, if you go by, media and sports and blah, 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 they're saying there's 2 teams in the East and 2 teams in the West that are legitimately competing. In the SEC, you never know. But what do you do if it's a Tennessee Ole Miss championship game in Atlanta? Ole Miss is undefeated.
They are. That's true.
Well, hey, how bizarre. One, Heinz Mustard would have to be they would have to be the sponsor.
Except
and Titleist Pro V1X.
To that point, though, I think somebody earlier said their one word was 1998. As of right now, just a general look at things, they lost LSU, but Mississippi State they beat the brakes off Arkansas today. That would be a weird one too. But just a thought to throw out there. Ole Miss is still undefeated, though.
If you knew how bad I'm rooting for a Tennessee Ole Miss meeting in Atlanta.
Yeah, Lane's your dude.
Not even for the game. Not even for the game. For the week of media. That's it. Screw the outcome of the game. But for just the media and the questions and the jackass answers that Lane would give would be so worth it.
Speak it into existence. I like Mango says the mustard bowl. Yeah, the French's bowl. That's what we want for that SEC championship game.
I text my dad and his buddies that were in a group text earlier, and they started dying. And I was like, "Get your mustard bottles ready, guys. It's gonna happen. Let's do this."
I'll have one right here next to the Rattle and Snap whiskey.
If that happens, we got to figure out a way to go.
Oh, that's without question.
Just saying, if that happens,
yes.
If it's Tennessee Ole Miss, we got to figure out a way to go.
I'll do this show from the concourse.
We'll do the show in the freaking courtyard outside. I don't care.
However, it has to get done.
Unreal with a big French's mustard sign behind us.
We'll figure it out.
You know what I mean? Throwing golf balls everywhere. You get a golf ball.
Everybody, we give out free golf balls. That's the. All right. Well, let's finish with this. Alabama on the horizon, Crop.
Yep.
This Texas A&M game is going to be interesting. It's at A&M, right? It's in College Station. Or no, it's in Tuscaloosa.
That's a good question, to be honest with you. I'm not
because last year the win, Texas A&M beat them in College Station, so it's in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
So again, assuming Texas A&M is bad, assuming Alabama wins by 20-ish.
Well, honestly,
so.
I think that's going to depend on who plays at quarterback.
That's true. Bryce Young potentially out. And you know what was crazy? I was watching Game Day this morning, and their talking point on Bryce Young was, if you're Nick Saban, do you consider holding out Bryce Young because Tennessee is the real matchup? Because Tennessee is the more important game.
I swear to God, I was just about to ask the same question.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
But does Game Day come back next week?
It has to, right? I mean, it's a top 5 matchup.
You would think you've got to.
Yeah.
Right? We're the 3:30 Gary Danielson idiot game.
9 hours long. We'll be doing the show at midnight.
I'm going to watch it on mute because he just talks to hear himself talk sometimes. Ugh. But it's going to be electrifying. I hope Game Day's there just for the atmosphere. That would be awesome. I mean, honestly. But I thought the same thing. Does Saban think that his backup, is it Milroe or Milrose?
I think Milroe.
Milroe, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, electrifying athlete. Like, look, yeah.
He's got some legs. He
didn't let him throw much I understand why. But do you if you're Nick Saban, do you think he's good enough tonight to just go ahead and beat A&M? A&M, if I'm not mistaken, Max Johnson, is he out? Didn't he get injured?
Injured, so it's Haynes King.
Okay, even better, right? For Alabama, Do you go ahead and think that Milrose just go ahead? He's good enough to win tonight and save Bryce to make sure he doesn't get hurt. Because if you play him and he gets tweaked a little bit, you got to be ready. Even with Saban's defense, they got to be ready to put up 45 next week offensively.
Yes,
they have to.
That's what you have to be planning on.
And
without a doubt,
we're gonna put up our points.
Yeah, that's
just the reality. But they've got to be ready to put up 45 points to win that ball game. They're either going to shoot them up with a lot of stuff, or they might just hold them. If it's me, you never want to overlook a game. But A&M, I think I hate to say it, I almost think LSU might be better than A&M, and that's saying something. And I'm not saying that in the positive about today. I'm not saying that because of today. I'm just because I don't think A&M. I don't think they're there. I don't think they want to play for him anymore.
They got more dudes. I mean, they got more talent.
They have individuals. They don't have a team.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah. I even talked to a friend this morning that actually they said it's an AC sprain for Young, I think. And he said that it took him like a month to come back from. Of course, he doesn't have the special potions and the training staff that Alabama's going to have. But I think there's a possibility that he could be a step slow in that game. Point being,
yeah,
I think he's going to tough it out and play just from the sound of that and sort of the chatter around the situation. But let's say that Young plays and he's 100%. How are you feeling about that game?
I mean, I said it after week 1. Like, I did say that they would beat us on a late field goal and us beat Georgia. But watching them play – now, this is also after week 1, right? They hadn't really played anybody yet. Well, nobody had. I just don't know how sold I am on them yet. Like, I'm not saying – and I understand that they're still Alabama. It's not what I'm getting at. I just don't – I think they're good, but I think they also rely on the fear of everybody playing Alabama. I can tell you right now.
It's a good point.
Our locker room is not going to have any fear against them. One, because that's – and hey, third Saturday in October, we don't care, right? Like, that's the game. Obviously, it's not going to be the third Saturday, but I'm just saying, like, that's not the issue, and especially with our coach. There's not going to be 1 ounce of fear in that room. So I think that's what I think a lot of teams where they struggle, they're always waiting for when are we going to make that mistake that Saban takes advantage of?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're always like waiting. We used to do that. We don't do it anymore.
That's true.
Dude, first play of the second half tonight. We say, screw you guys. We're going deep. We do not care. You better be able to cover. That's what I even with 100% young, that doesn't scare me. If we do what we did tonight defensively, mixing up blitzes, stunts, cross dog blitzes, getting after him, make him uncomfortable, I can live with that.
Their offensive line got eaten up by Texas.
Yeah.
So
and our front seven's better than Texas.
The possibility is there. You just got to go out and execute. I would say the thing that makes me like giddy about this game, like it's essentially you take the hype from Florida and honestly ratchet it up a notch, I think. And then you don't have any of the pressure of, oh, we got to win this game. You're the better team. You're favored. The 17, whatever it was, 1 win in 17 years or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You don't have any of that hanging over your head. You are balls to the wall. It doesn't matter. Like because people are expecting you to lose. Alabama's going to be unless they implode against A&M maybe, which I do not expect to happen. You're going to be the underdog. You're going to be a home underdog in that game. And you're like, what I want to see Heupel do is be Billy Napier against Tennessee, where he just went, F it. I'm going to go on 4th down from my own 30. I don't know if I want to see Heupel do exactly that, but I want to see Heupel just be like what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose.
No, what we have to lose. No, but this is where you got to understand. We're not 2-3.
That's true. This is true. This is a good point.
4. What we have to lose is the resume for New Year's 6. See what I'm saying?
That's true.
We're back to that level right now. We're not.
You're in a big boy conversation now.
Exactly. Dude, we're in the top 10 or top 8 with the really good chance of being in the top 5 next week, depending on what happens the rest of today.
But we walked away from that Florida game saying you beat Florida and Billy Napier threw everything in the kitchen sink at you, and things went their way. They got those bounces. They got the onside kick. Yeah. If you lose next week, that's the conversation I want to be having. I want to be like, well, we lost. Damn it. But you threw everything at him.
And as you can tell, that's Heupel. His thing is we're all gas, no brakes, so to speak. And the situation is they're going to have to beat us. We're not just going to hand it to them and go, "Ooh, you're Alabama." If you beat this Tennessee team right now, then you've earned that win. Yes. You know what I'm saying? It's not like years past where it's like, I mean, we really sucked today. Like that was atrocious. that was not fun to watch.
We didn't deserve to win that one, even though we did.
There's always going to be mistakes. But if you beat this team, then you've earned that win.
Yes.
And that's what Nick Saban has always relied upon, his teams having that fear factor where teams are like, oh, if we don't play 100% perfect, blah, blah, man, football's not perfect. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's perfectly imperfect. You got to randomly, they can game plan too. You got to make that play. You got to make that Heisman moment. Right? And that's where I think we have the guys in that locker room, and especially on offense, that believe doesn't matter. We're going to make that play because that's what we do. It's been so long since we've been able to say that.
They did it last year. You had Bama, I think it was a 4-point game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and then we ran out of gas.
Yeah, and they ran out of players. You have way better depth this year. You have a more focused, more experienced set-in offense. I mean, Hooker's a Heisman candidate at this point. It's right there for Tennessee. So Alias Gray says we're absolutely good enough to beat Alabama without a bunch of mistakes from them. I agree with that because that's how it would have been in years past. You just got to rely on they're going to fumble the ball, they'll make a mistake maybe, and they'll have an off day. And I think straight up, it's there. Then it says we are not going to lose. We will beat Bama. I'll ask you.
I'll say that I'll answer Ben's question. I just scrolled up and I saw it. I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier, Ben.
Sure.
He asked. He goes, "We're good enough to beat Bama straight up, right?" Yeah, I've been saying it the whole time.
Yeah.
Now, I did predict we'd lose late on a field goal, like with no time on the clock. But that was also after week 1 where I said we would beat Georgia and lose to Bama by 3 points.
I do think it has to be a incredibly clean and crisp game, though. Like, I think you have to play at the top end of your ability.
But what is your definition of clean and crisp?
No mistakes, no turnovers. Today, no turnovers.
And I'm with you, but we were 11-20 at half. For us, that's not clean, right?
Yeah.
We're used to 70%. See what I'm getting
at?
Like, clean and crisp in football is not baseball where you're going into the 7th, 8th inning with a perfect game.
That's true. That's true.
That's not football. Football is clean and crisp, meaning we're setting you up with plays to hit you with a big play.
Yeah.
We're running certain things to see how you're going to react. We're going to do certain formations to see how you react. We know we may go 3 and out here, but we just got you to show your hand. That's clean and crisp in football. And that's what Heupel does so well. He legitimately he uses your weaknesses against you when the time is right. And that's the fun part. That's the fun part to see. You may get us early on. Doesn't matter. Look what we did in the second half. We said, F you guys, we're out. We're better than you. Nothing you can do about it. We're not used to that. We're used to going, oh, this is too close at half.
Collapsing.
Ooh, right? I'm not saying we're going to blow Bama out. I'm not saying we're going to beat them by 40. I can't predict the future. What I'm getting at is we do have the team that can straight up, man for man, beat Alabama is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Now, we still got to go make the plays. They got to make the plays. But the thing that I love the most about Heupel, he doesn't fret over, well, we fumbled. I'm not going to and throw everything, right? Next play, next play, next play, next play. The guys have bought into that mentality.
He cleans the slate.
It's called STM, short-term memory. You got 8 seconds, and it's over. It's done.
That's great.
I teach that every day. 8 seconds, and it's over. There's nothing you can do about it. We can learn from it, but you can't make that play any worse. You can't make that play any better. It's done. You can tell he preaches that stuff.
Yeah, to me, it goes back to that point that Dan Orlovsky made at the end of that game. It's the defense because the offense is going to get theirs in this game. It is playing with that mentality. Even if you do make a mistake, wipe the slate clean, march forward, and play as mistake free as you can. JL says Vols by 7. I'll put you on the spot, Cromp. What's the score? Alabama, Tennessee.
Well, like I said after week 1, it would come down to a field goal late. But after seeing both teams play, 5 games apiece, Alabama's about to play their 6th. We're even at 5.
Preseason, you said Alabama would win. You said
I did. No, I did, and that's not. And that if we lose to Alabama by 3 points, that's better than Wake Forest losing to Clemson in overtime. Because Alabama's better than Clemson. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's nobody wants to lose. We're not trying to lose. But if you're going to have a quote unquote loss on your resume, you need it to be a top 5 team loss.
Yes.
Right. So everybody early on was like, "Oh, Notre Dame, it's good. That's still and then we saw Notre Dame's not as good." But what I'm getting at is like, if you're going to lose, it needs to be a top 5. I'm not saying we're going into this thing to lose. So I'm actually changing I am going to switch my prediction about us losing. I'm going to say we're winning on a field goal late, 45-42.
There it is. There it is. I'll give my prediction on Big Orange Podcast on Monday. Me and Zach Reagan, Monday, 4 p.m. right here, wherever you may be watching this show. That's where our show live streams to, 4 p.m. on Mondays, 4 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays. So there you go, 45-42. That's Cromps. I'll make sure that I mention that on Monday when me and Zach give our final predictions for the game.
I might have to put $10 on the score at some place to see if I can.
But I genuinely think a huge factor in this, in terms of predicting that game, is if Young plays. Because you look at how successful Tennessee has been against teams that can't throw the ball? I mean, just look at this. Today is the perfect example. That's where they thrive. If they can get to the quarterback, they are genuinely, that defensive line is great against the run. That is a huge thing for me because Young can throw on you. Young will throw on you.
He can.
Yeah.
But this, once again, you can tell we're a pick your poison type of team.
That's true.
So if he plays, we'll say, F you got to beat me running the ball. And I'm not mad at that philosophy. I'm not. Because you can't stop everything in football. You can't. Just like they can't stop everything we do. We threw for like 230 something tonight. We're in for 262. Right? You can't stop everything. No, it wasn't a 300-yard passing game. Dude, we almost ran for 300. Right? But we have proven that if you crowd the box, that we will throw for 4. That's what I'm getting. You cannot stop everything. So you got to pick your poison. So I think I do think it was an advantage us playing at noon and then playing at 8. So we will be home by the time they played. Our coaches will watch the game. Do you see where I'm going? They'll already have the leg up because they will already be watching the game together, more than likely.
Hopefully.
And watching this going, hey, here's what they've been doing. Here's what this happened. Here's what this happened. You're watching this. And they're taking notes. So when they break down the film, they've already watched it. That is an advantage.
Yeah, it is.
We'll be home by the time they kick off. They'll be at the facility.
It'll be close. I mean, it's 4:30 now.
It's 3:30 there, though. And they'll be flying in. They definitely already made it. They're on their way to the airport right now.
That game's at 7, maybe.
No, it's at 8.
8. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like an hour flight, 15-minute flight.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure that's.
They go straight to the facility, police escort. So it's a 25-minute ride, right? They'll be able to get. It's good because they'll be able to watch this game.
What I hope happens is that Texas A&M gives them a real tough game, like really drags them down and makes it hard. I don't think they're gonna, but
we can stay in here all day, but whoever this last comment is, Dean, you've lost your mind. No way Tennessee beats Alabama. Keep dreaming. Would be nice. But didn't Texas?
It's a Bama fan. It's a Bama fan.
But didn't they have to have a 2-minute? We needed a penalty to get the drive going against Texas. Isn't Texas unranked and really bad?
They did just beat Oklahoma by like 50.
And Oklahoma gave up 50-something points to TCU. What I'm getting at is you got to play the game regardless. That was the point of that. It doesn't matter that it's Alabama. That's what I'm getting at is the perception of everybody should fear Alabama. Man, F Alabama. Who cares?
If you think Alabama is not concerned about this, I'll say it. If you think Alabama's not scared, this is the first time in the entire Saban tenure that Alabama is looking at Tennessee and going, "Uh-oh, that's not good."
No, this is actually the first game of their season this year that they're going, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
They took Texas lightly, and you saw what happened. Texas was not very good. They're not. Just calling it like it is. They're not very good. Right? That's just point blank. Oklahoma's even worse.
They're better with Quinn Ewers, clearly.
Well, no, but I'm just saying in general, like they're not very good. Or at least right now. They may be in the future, only time will tell. But what I'm getting at is wasn't Alabama a 24 or 28 point favorite against Texas? And they had to have a last minute penalty to help them kick a field goal. You still got to play the game is what I'm trying to say. Still got to play the game regardless. This is finally a Tennessee team that says we don't care that it's Alabama. We're not afraid. We're not timid going into this game. Our buttholes aren't puckered because it's Alabama. Nobody cares that it's Alabama. Used to, in the last 6, 7, 8 years, it was always, oh, crap, it's Alabama. Oh, crap, right? You can tell Hype was like, man, it don't matter to us. This is another notch on the belt type game.
Yep.
That's the mentality that winning programs have. Ohio State, as much as I hate to say it, and Jeff's going to love me, they've had that mentality for a long time. Dude, Michigan's normally really good. Ohio State beats the piss out of them every year. You see what I'm saying?
Half the battles between the ears.
But it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Michigan, for whatever reason, has a complete mental block to ever beat Ohio State.
Speak it into existence. Where all of those Alabama fans can shut it. As I said, they're lying if they said they're not concerned about next week. Absolutely lying. I don't have my charger in here. My computer's gonna die. Evan said, "Don't end the show. Keep riding." Here it is. He said, "Don't end the show. Let's ride." Evan, I gotta go charge my computer. Also, Crompton hasn't slept in like 2 days.
I'm running off 1 hour sleep. So I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go to bed. Legit.
Yeah. He's gonna go sleep. I'm gonna go drink more Rattle and Snap whiskey right here. I already had 2 glasses on the show.
Hey, man, listen, you drink that. My high school team's 7-0.
Hey,
the kids
nice.
Are no, they're well. I say mine, but I'm the OC. I mean, not like that, but like our staff's done a great job. The kids have bought in. We're 7-0. I got home, took a shower, laid down, excited from the win. Couldn't go to sleep. Got an hour sleep. Drove an hour and 15 minutes in the morning to train quarterbacks until kickoff. I love football is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, you do.
This is fun, man. Like, I want to go to bed, but I could talk about Alabama week all night long.
Well, there's that. Cromp says 45-42. Shootout with Alabama. Tennessee comes out on top.
Love it.
As I mentioned, I'll plug here to end Monday. Myself, Zach Reagan of A to Z Sports. He's a writer for A to Z Sports. We do podcasts every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern time on these same platforms, YouTube, Facebook, A to Z Sports Nashville. Go subscribe to all of those. Share the show if you want to. Tell your friends about it. And because, this is so fun. I can't believe that we're getting to do this right now. Tennessee having the season that they are. This is just unbelievable. And everybody that listens, you're amazing. I want you to know that. Hey, Steven, he says, I love y'all show. Keep doing what you're doing. We will. This has been such a blast, man. I'm having such a good time this entire season.
We legitimately enjoy doing this and interacting with you guys. I like talking smack just because it's fun. So 90% of the smack talk I'm doing, I'm just having a good time. And that's the fun part is because people will talk it back. Man, I love it. Like in all in good fun. You know what I mean? Other teams fans, like this show is amazing. We enjoy the piss out of it.
It's so great. So appreciate everybody watching. I'm Charlie Burris of A to Z Sports. That is former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton. This was so great. Again, thank you for watching. And we will talk to you guys at halftime of the Alabama game. We'll see where we're at when that happens. Yeah. Hopefully we're talking about Tennessee leading by, 14 at halftime.
Honestly, it only needs to be one.
That's true.
1 point.
Just be in the lead.
I just want to see. We need like a fly on the wall camera that follows you around with no audio.
I can't emphasize enough.
Just to see the facial expressions.
I will show up to this show shirtless with his shaved head if we beat Alabama.
Yo, hey, everybody, at a minute 8,
drenched in whiskey,
an hour and 8 minutes. Everybody heard it. Everybody heard it. I will hold you to it. I'll drive to Knoxville and shake your head. I will do it.
I can't shave my head. My wife would not allow it. But the shirtless thing will probably just be. It won't be optional. Like I will just have gone and ripped my shirt off, so that it'll just be that way naturally.
But I feel like if you say you'll shave your head, that will win. So I think you should say it.
This is like I got a nice do. I don't know. We'll see. But
hey, you're thinking about it.
What's a win over Alabama worth to you? You know. All right.
This, not if, but when we win, this will be full.
Oh,
and I will have a cigar in my hand.
Oh, that's right. We got to get cigars. Oh, that's right.
And I'll be sitting like this, legs crossed, leaning back, and I'll just be having a good time.
I'll buy one just in case.
Hopefully my smoke detectors work.
I'll buy one this week just in case.
You never know.
You make sure. All right, that's it. I'm down to 5% battery. We got to bounce.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks again. We will talk to y'all during the Alabama game.